Okay, so now I have this drawn out roughly. I don't want to do too much to it. And I've used the side of this candle, and I've using a wax resist. I am trying to get the tops of those mustard plants. And I'm not sure what's going to happen because I can't see it.
Yeah.
And that's actually okay with me. Sometimes it works better when I can't see it. Anyway, so now I'm going to do a value technique study. In other words, I'm going to do a value study, black, white, and midtone, plus I'm going to use the technique, a technique in certain areas. So I'm doing both, but it's still a value study. It's not a painting, it's not a sketch, it's a study. And I'm going to use just a dark color, which is going to be Payne's Gray.
Oh, very cool. Yes.
And I'm going to start this painting by painting heaven to earth, light to dark. So I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to wet this. And I've already got, looks like a little tone on there. My brush isn't clean, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go right through, and I'm going to go right through to the, down in this area. This appears to me to be distant hills, distant roads, distant agriculture, distant whatever. So I want it to be distant. So I want it to be somewhat diffused. So I'm going to put a tone down here. And that's darker than what I wanted. So I'm just going to, there's exactly what I want. And I'm just going to use the edge of my brush to make that look a little more natural. And I have some of these hills or mountains, and that's plenty. So also I have this sky, which is gradated down from the top. So I'm just going to let that float down. But now that I have this, I'm going to take my cling wrap and I'm going to stretch it like this. And I'm going to put it right on top of here. I don't want to take it up into the sky. I want it to be down in here. Oh, that's beautiful. That's what I kind of hope for. So this is going to be, this is going to approximate the stuff that's happening back here. And if you can see that already, I think it is. What I'd like to do is, I don't want to put a book on it, but I do want to put, maybe I do want to put a book on it. I want to put a book on top of this just so I can keep some of that, those shapes in there. These shapes. So that's step one. And when it comes time to paint a color of these, I'll have a much better idea of what to expect. Because as with most technique paintings, you can plan it as much as you want, but with technique, you can't replicate it. You'll never do the same thing twice. You can do the same process twice, but you're never going to have the same effect twice. And that's the good news, and that's the bad news. So It's risk reward. So anyway, I gotta let that set up for a few minutes.
And then you can smudge it.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that approximates, see all that? That
Yeah.
approximates all this stuff happening back there.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, it's done.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So you left it in there about 10 minutes?
Yeah. However long we've been talking.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Anyway, I'm gonna mix up a little darker wash and see how, yeah, that worked great. That's better than the other one because I used a lighter wash on it. So
Are you going to do this one all in black and white?
yes,
Oh, okay.
doing another technique study because you guys want to see how I did it.
Okay.
And that's fine. It doesn't need to be in color to figure if the technique's going to work or not. So I'm just going to brush up from the bottom here just to see what happened. And I'm going to try to go around the edge here. And I'm going to put in some of this texture. Go from the top now. To see if I kept any of this white that I was looking for. And I think I did.
Wow.
Whether it's still enough or not, I don't know, but I'm going to let this seep down in there and see what happens.
Oh, that's cool.
There. And wow,
That looks very good.
Yeah.
pretty convincing, doesn't it? Woohoo! Hey, are we having fun or what? I want this a little bit darker down here in this corner.
I'm going to add more wax to mine.
That's a pretty good technique right there.
Yep.
And I think what I want to do to this, the bottom part of this, is I like this seeping down in there. I'm going to take this and do it this way because I want the wider, widest part up top.
Huh.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think I didn't crinkle my saran wrap enough because I didn't get the indentations that you did, but I learned from it.
There you go. That's all you're trying to do is just learn from it. So let's see what we can do on the other side here. It's all kind of in shadow.
Could you move your paper more towards your reference? Thank you.
And I did put some wax over here too. And so that's going to give me a little bit of something. And I want this to stay fairly dark down here. Because this is, that's in light, and this side of the trail is in light, and this other side is not. I'm going to blot a little bit here too, just to keep that lightness going. I'm gonna spatter a little bit. Why not? Spatter a little bit over here too. Of course. But of course, that's a dirty paper towel. That's okay, it's no problem. Just wipe that out of there. In fact, we'll just put this over here so that I can spatter a little. There we go. Why not? I don't care about these guys.
You know, Carol, you said you didn't sprinkle yours enough. Well, I did it too much. So I got a lot of lines back there.
Oh, okay. So between the two of us, we got it.
Yeah, you got to be right in the middle there.
Hey, there you go. Between the two of you, it'll work. Okay, I think what I want to do now is I want to just try something here. I think I'm going to cut this in half because I don't need very much of it. I want a little more organic feel to this. I just love this back here. It just looks so cool. Subtle, but it's okay. Oh, I found out something that when I put this on here, I want it to be on the thicker side, and I'm putting it on, putting paint on, I'm putting paint on, actually, I could just do it right there. I'm putting paint on this. And I want it to be a little bit thicker than thinner. And I can't actually make a shape with it. I can paint a shape. So I know that's going to run off. But I want a little something happening up in here. I want this blobby thing that I can't paint because I'm not good enough. Here we go. Here we go. I want just to make a straighter line here because I want some of this. I like the blobs. I ought to get a clean piece of Kleenex or paper or something. Anyway, so I like the blobs, and I'm going to make some that are darker and heavier. And put those, see what that looks like. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's something that I can't paint.
You can paint anything.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I'm using technique to paint it for me because it's going to do a better job. Nice little texture back there behind that. And what happens when I put this over this wax is that I'm still going to get a texture in this background, but it's not going to affect the wax. There, it's kind of cool. That's a nice little texture going on through there. We're getting there.
The hardest part is not being able to see where the wax is. Like I overdid my wax.
Yeah, of course. Oh, I've
You don't know it until you put the paint on.
here. I didn't even know I had. Wow. And that's a nice little lacy effect that I'm getting out of there. I'm just using the side of my brush and going up, trying some weedy looking things.
Okay, so you spattered and you used the wax resist and now you're just spattering more?
I didn't spatter. I just brushed up from the bottom.
Okay,
I'm just making those edges a little weedy. I'm just bringing a little texture down to that lower part. And this is where I'm going to have my couple, and this is, I'm just going to use the side of my brush for a technique here. And I'm going to have this couple, there's going to be a couple in here, and why not? And so this hill right here is going to just go off into the distance. And I'm using the side of my brush to kind of give that texture so it looks a little more organic. And I've got a triangle in here. Again, I'm using my big. There's some trees out there. There's some roads. I don't want to get too dark back here because I want that to go off into the. Just smear around a little bit in there. This is egg over here, and I'm gonna make sure it's an egg, so I'm gonna put it.
What was the word you just used? You're going to make sure it's what?
Egg. Agriculture.
Oh,
Put an egg in it.
I'm killing these because I don't want those to stand out. I don't want that contrast there. I think there's enough going on. As far as the texture is going to go. And I think what I also want to do is maybe give a little bit more of an angle once I get up here. See, I've got that hard angle edge there. I want to put some of that there, I think. There could be some trees up there. But that picks that back up without destroying that texture that's underneath that. The, oh no, I dropped my brush. I ruined it. Oh no. I'm glad you saw me drop my brush because it really is not going to make any difference in the long run. So happens to everybody. I'm trying to be kind of careful with this. Real pink. I'm just going to leave that alone. So I'm not trying to be crazy detailed. I'm just trying to give an indication of a couple of people maybe walking down this path, this trail. And so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll, that might be better. Seeing a little bit better. And because that's darker back there, I think I'll just suggest some trees going on in there, in that darker around them to show up a little bit. We connect with that. Why not? Why not? Just to suggest a little this, off. I'll be using the side of the brush for all this stuff. And I think I will have that little brush out, even though I could use my dagger brush. I don't care. Couple of darker.
Did you get your brushes yet for Rosemary?
I've got 3 of them, and I ordered that one that Selena said she was in love with. That's probably going to be a while because I couldn't get it in the size that I wanted.
They don't have the size one.
Yeah, I'm paying more for a brush than I have in probably decades because it's part sable.
That's for your birthday. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's your birthday.
Anyway, I think this is stacking up to be even better than the other one as far as technique. So now I'm going to let that dry for a second. Against paint for a second. That looks pretty good on the monitor, I think.
Yeah, it does.
You know, it gives a suggestion of some stuff.
I like the contrast.
I haven't really I put some darks in, but most of this is mid-tone. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna need this guy again. I'm gonna need this guy. In fact, I think what I'll do is go ahead and start this. I'm gonna use one of my rosemary brushes,
Oh,
my 1/2-inch dagger.
Rosemary.
And I want to
Oh, yeah, come on.
Oh my God.
probably enough. I think I'll do this. Come from
Honest to Pete.
Now I'm going to use more paint than water, and I'm just going to try to blob some stuff on here for some of these. Oh, see that's going to work. That's going to work already. See, so I'm getting my organic mass, if you will.
Oh, on the tree?
Yeah, on the tree.
Tree looks good. Oh, yeah.
See, look at that.
Ah, love it. Wow.
So that's just by me painting paint on a piece of cling wrap,
Huh?
then putting it on top. And I can smush it around. I can do what I want, but that's pretty good.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yes,
Instant tree.
that really turned out well. I'm going to use my rosemary brush now.
You haven't used it yet?
Yes, I have. I'm just not very good with it. It just takes a lot of practice, I think.
I'm going to go back to my rosemary brush and just put some of these little leaves. You know, this always works for me if I don't care. I'm just putting in stuff. And I could put in some more of those twigs, limbs going across. I think we are almost done with this technique part of it. I do want to put some dark, trying to follow the pattern. I don't want to overdo this, but I think it has to be darker over on this side. It's hard for me to tell with the reflected light. Why not? Well, it's still wet. Why not? There we go. Get another added dimension to that. And the big reveal. Or not so big. Guess you never know. But I love taking the tape off after all that putzing just to clean up the mess. See what it really looks like.
Awesome, Joe.
There we go. And it was mostly what? It was mostly technique.
Yes.
How about that?
Did you wait for your tree branches to pretty much dry before you stamped on top of it?
Yeah, I just put it down and I said I was going to let it dry.
Oh,
So that was enough.
just saying it. Okay.
That was enough. Anyway, oh, and I still have a piece of cling wrap left over. Wow.
Wow.
I'm just going to take a little damp cloth and just wipe that little spot out in case that's bothering anybody. But they show up pretty well because they're not, it's simpler over here. But I like all the texture in that side. And I think I did a fairly good job of capturing what I wanted to capture. I'm going to use that rosemary brush again just because I can.
Definitely rosemary brushes. Hit the magic.
They're magic brushes, yes.
Well, I can sure see what I did wrong with mine, but it was fun.
There we go. Just broke that up just a little bit. Looks better in the monitor or on my computer. I think I'm done.
Right.
I don't know that. If you have a minute, I can show you a few things.
So
I can
here's
do.
my
You want to do
reference. Oh, you can see it up in the corner. Okay. And there's what we did with
Sorry,
it.
I don't
So
know
it's
that.
kind of
If
similar,
you have a
kind of the
minute, I
same.
can show you a few things I can do.
See,
Do you want to hear
see
more?
one more little thing.
Sounds like Alexa's talking to somebody.
I have to put one more little, and this is going to make the difference for the whole painting.